We'll begin, though, with that alarming rise in COVID-19 cases across the country, despite a months-long push for vaccination.
So the CDC is now reporting a 53% increase in the daily average of COVID cases compared to last week. Hospitalizations and deaths, they're also back on the rise. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky warning about the spread of the Delta variant on Thursday.
Compared to the virus we had circulating initially in the United States at the start of the pandemic, the Delta variant is more aggressive and much more transmissible than previously circulating strains. It is one of the most infectious respiratory viruses we know of and that I have seen in my 20-year career.
As health officials warn, this has become a pandemic of the unvaccinated. More children across the country are testing positive for COVID, and of course, they're mostly unvaccinated. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky joins us now from a COVID testing center in Dallas. Morgan, good morning. So let's talk through what we're seeing happen there with kids. How many COVID-19 cases are the health officials seeing among children where you are?
Yeah, Savannah, Yasmin, good morning. And they're certainly seeing more children come through this testing site over the last several weeks. They say about 50% of those who come through this drive-through testing clinic, about 50% are children. And they say the majority of those children are coming from a summer camp type environment where they have been exposed, at least directly or indirectly, to someone who has COVID-19. And there is a growing likelihood that those who have been exposed to COVID have been exposed to that more contagious Delta variant, which we are seeing a growing impact of here in Texas. We know that specifically a church camp in Central Texas tied to a church in the Galveston area near Houston has now been linked to more than 150 cases of COVID-19, specifically of the Delta variant. And I had a chance to speak to the health director in that county yesterday, and he just told me that this is highly contagious. And he says the speed at which it can spread is significantly different than what he witnessed over the past year. If we go back a year ago, whenever they were learning more about COVID-19 itself. A little bit different, a little more contagious, and that's why it's significantly more concerning.
So, Morgan, let's talk through more about what's going on with these camps. I mean, what are families saying about what's happening at them? You've sent your kids there, and then something like this happens. At some places, there are restrictions in place. At others, there's not, especially when kids are outdoors. But what are families of these kids who are headed off to camp saying?
Oh, they're very concerned. And it's been interesting this summer in that we go back last summer, and summer camps either didn't exist at all, or the ones who did stay open had very stringent measures in place. Since then, we've seen the rise in the vaccinated population grow. And so we had a lot of summer camps essentially returning to normal operations this summer. And that could be one of the reasons that we're seeing this faster spread. We know that at one camp in particular in the Texas Hill Country, the camp itself had to temporarily shut down. The staffers had to quarantine after an outbreak of COVID there. I want you to hear what one parent of one of the campers had to say following that incident. Take a listen.
We probably let our guard down a little bit, thinking, most things are getting back to normal. I want the whole thing to be over and everybody to be safe. Yeah, if that means we have to mask up and go back to where we were a few months ago, I'm going to do it.
And you can hear the concern from that father here. We do know that as of right now, the main concern is getting kids either vaccinated or getting the return to wearing masks for those who are, they're the lights, they're with us now. And we do know that when school comes back, as of this moment, Governor Greg Abbott here in Texas had said that he will not require kids to wear masks back in the classroom. But we've also heard from President Biden, who said that the CDC will likely recommend that children 12 and under who are still ineligible for the vaccine go ahead and mask up when they go back to school. And it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, certainly concerning for a lot of families, parents, children ahead of the school year as we're seeing this spread in summer camps across the country. Morgan Chesky dealing with those technical difficulties in the lighting situation.
I think I saw a crew member maybe try to use a flashlight on you, so A+. Thank you.
To the silhouette of Morgan Chesky.
You're like, whoa, we came back from that spot. All right, thanks, Morgan.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.